Good morning. It is April 7, 2014. It's a Monday. UPB OptionMillionaires.com. Hope you had a great weekend. The market fell on Friday. Yes, folks, it was really April Fools on Friday. The market did fool you as we hit all-time highs after the Goldilocks jobs report. Not too good and not too bad. Woo-hoo. Just right. The porridge was so good. And you look for traders to stick their toes into that porridge and buy stocks. And we did have it early on, but then we pulled back. Look at this massive candle. We haven't had a candle like this since the end of January. And look what happened after that. That was at the 172.5 level, 172.80 before we bounced. So that's my question here. This is what opens up really an interesting trading week for us. We have earnings season starting to kick off. We have Wells Fargo at the end of the week. JP Chase. In the middle of the week, we have Bed Bath & Beyond. It's going to be a really great week. This big candle is just a garden variety pullback. We did have a lot of movement from the momentum names into something like Caterpillar was barely down on Friday. A lot of those stocks that are more stable, IBM, people were selling the Momo names, getting into some of the more stable dividend issuing stocks. And so here we are. Are we going to bounce? Futures are lower. We're right about here. We're at about 185.90 on the SPY, which is to be about 50-cent move to the downside. We were as low as 185.55 this morning, which is more of what I was hoping for this morning. A bit nice pullback. I want to see a move down to this 184 level before I become ultra confident about a bounce. But then again, as I was pointing out in my videos last week and the week before, what I was really looking for is that we have a left shoulder. This would be the head of a longer-term head and shoulders pattern. So ultimately, we're going to get the move down to 172.50 and then to bounce up. But that's all well and dandy. If we don't break this 184 level, we could just be looking at a channel, which would kind of suck for people trading out-of-the-money stock options, because you know what a channel means, especially a tight channel like this, a wider channel that we saw back from October until the start of this year is great because you get a wide channel, you've got a lot of movement. We're in this tight little channel of a $5 range for the SPY. Yes, that's going to usake mucho. So let's see what happens here. I would love to see it pull back to this level. That would be a very good place to buy stocks. But let's look at some stocks here that I'm looking at for a bounce just the next couple days. How about Amazon? I brought this chart up. StockTwits, also at the blog at OptionMillionaires.com. How we had two overhead resistance lines coming into play. Look at this. We didn't just have this trend line, which goes back more than a year. Let's see how far that goes back. That goes back to September of 2013. And then we have this channel, which was offering up overhead resistance. And once those two lines came together, we declined significantly. It was at about the 380 level. We came up perfectly to it, declined. And look at this. I brought this chart up. We were about here. At StockTwits, I said we're going to, it's a great support line. And look at this. This is a trend line ahead. And if you look at my charts at OptionMillionaires.com and at StockTwits, we were up here when I had this trend line. So we came right down to it. Look how close we came to it. I mean, we perfectly hit it and bounced. So right now we're at about this level. I love Amazon for the move up. Likely 335 level, we have a nice cup and a handle, and we continue to the upside, hit new all-time highs. They call Amazon the price per earnings ratio isn't so great or whatever, but you know what? They're taking over the world. The Amazon might be shrinking down in South America, but it's booming globally as they offer free shipping. Amazon TV, I mean, forget about it. Pretty soon they'll be offering coffee. Oh, they probably already have that. Let's move on some other charts, and I'm looking for a bounce. Tesla analyst came out this morning, talked about the stock. I don't know what that line's doing there. And I talked about the $200 level last week, and the week before as being, 197 and change. As support, I'd love to see move down to this level. Don't know if it's going to happen, but we're going to break to the upside, probably hit 250 in the next couple weeks for Tesla. Love that for a bottom bounce. And let's Baidu, if I can get the ticker in there right. Baidu, there it is, Baidu. And then look from a longer term perspective for Baidu. It's just consolidating here. Some of these lines, I don't know why they're in there, but they just look fine and dandy, don't they? So we broke down. I'd love to see this move up to about 168. We've had a really sharp decline over the last couple of, look at that, 162. Down to sub 150. We're at 149.35. I think it's down to 146 here pre-market. I don't know. I don't think the story's done with Baidu just yet. We have Wells Fargo at the end of the week. Look at this rally. Just unstoppable. Even on Friday when everything else was down. We're down a mere 27 cents. Oh, yes. That's it, just 27 cents. What's 27 cents for between friends? And look at this. To me, this is the interesting chart of the week. We have JP Chase at the end of the week on Friday before the bell reporting earnings, or lack thereof. We'll see which one is the true case. We're in this channel. Look at this beautiful channel. Well contained. And look at this. We hit the top side of this channel last week. And look what happened. Look what happened. We declined from it. Over $1.20 from the all-time record highs on JP Morgan Chase in this well-contained channel. Look at that. So the question is, are we going to hit the bottom side of this channel, which will bring us down to the low 50s at about 53.50? Let's pull up some of the studies here. We'll see, we're overbought, we're pulling back. So let's see if we get down to this oversold level, which would be down to the low 50s. Very possible here heading into earnings. And just from a chart perspective, we're going to break out. You look from a longer term perspective, are we flagging? Okay, you can say this is somewhat of a flagpole, a little slanted. You know, it's probably a hurricane, blew it to the side a little bit. And now we're consolidating. Are we going to spike to the upside post earnings? We're right there. Or are we going to pull back in this channel? That's going to be interesting. I'm not sure if I'm going to trade it for earnings, but I'll let you know in the chat room at optionmillionaires.com or private Twitter. Yelp. A lot of analysts yelping this morning about Yelp after it broke support here. It's getting toward the oversold territory. Looking for a bounce here. Some of the analysts come and say, oh, it's an $80 stock. I think it was Citigroup said it's a $100 stock back here. Yeah, with the $100. Pulled back. Really sharp. Look at this decline down from almost $100 down to 65.76. So that could be a buy the dip. I'm not sure I'm going to do it. We have Zillow still well contained above this trend line, former resistance, and then we have the resistance up here at the $100 level. So I like Yelp. I like Zillow here for a bounce this week. Western Digital, I got the $94 puts last week. You look at StockTwits, I brought up the chart. It was at 93.83 or something like that when I posted it. And we had a significant decline. Look at that. All record highs here, pulling back. We'll see if we get a recovery here. There's an analyst that came out this morning talking about, you know, SanDisk, Western Digital. Some of these stocks got beaten down the last couple days. Still love it. That's what he said. I still love it, honey. Oh, I love that stock. And we're up at 85. Look at SanDisk, just ripping to the upside, pulled back. Have to think that we're going to see a bounce in some of these names this morning. And if we're down early, why not? GameStop also rally. Look at the short squeeze post earnings. I called for the drop and then not. Oh man, it's been a massive short squeeze. I actually got some $44 puts on Thursday, right at the close. And then on Friday morning, analysts came out, upgraded the stock, said buy, 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 buy. And it gapped up to 45.50 before just tanking, falling to pieces. That's GME. I'm not sure where it's headed here. Where it stops, nobody knows. But I do think ultimately over the long term, I think GameStop's heading back to $30. But what do I know? What do I know? And look how perfectly we came to fill that gap down from January when they came out and said, hey, we're going to miss earnings. Oh yeah, earnings, they're going to suck. Also, think about it as like 36% short interest in the stock or just massive short. So we filled that gap and then look at this candle to the downside, right? UPB, your optionmillionaires.com. I still like BTH. It's over that $10 level. Significant decline off the highs here with the rest of the market. As the rest of the market pulled back. Look at that pullback. But I got BTH 10 and 12.50 calls that expired April. So love it. And let's look at the bond market. James Bond. This looks very bullish here, this chart. Short term's a 10-day. Longer term, not so bullish. We look at the 5-year chart. Still, well, you could actually look at this kind of flagging here. But if you look, we're in a downtrend in this channel, so we're back in the channel. So I may possibly move back up to 115 before we fall. This would be a quadruple-headed, shouldered dinosaur formation. Yes, I don't know. Look it up on stockcharts.com. They've got that one. Quadruple-headed dinosaur formation. I don't know if it's bearish or bullish, but it sure looks good in a coloring book. All right, UPB. I'll see you in the chat room at optionmillionaires.com, Twitter. Everyone have a great trading session. It's going to be a great week, awesome week. I got to find a thesaurus. Great. What's another good word for great? Fabulous. Spectacular. Grandioso. Goodbye.